You keep telling yourself you're fine, but your phone keeps proving otherwise. 1 minute you're calm, the next you're checking again, waiting for a name that hasn't appeared yet. And here's the real question nobody asks you. Are you actually waiting for him? Or are you slowly losing yourself in the waiting? Welcome to Decode His Mind, the channel where we break down the hidden psychology of attraction, relationships, and the real reasons behind why people act the way they do in love and connection. You catch yourself checking your phone again, then once more, telling yourself it doesn't really matter, while quietly hoping his name appears on the screen. Maybe people around you told you to calm down, give him room, act less interested, wait longer, do less. But what if the reason he hasn't reached out isn't what you assume? What if it's not about whether he likes you, not about how the last conversation went, and not even about whether the chemistry was real? The truth most people overlook is simple. Men don't suddenly reach out because of a perfectly crafted text at the perfect moment. They reach out when something inside them still feels unfinished, when a moment with you lingers, when your presence doesn't fully leave his mind after the conversation ends. That's the shift. That's the real trigger. And once you see it, everything begins to change. You stop chasing explanations. You stop blaming yourself for every quiet gap. You stop wondering how someone who seemed so interested could suddenly go silent. Stay with this idea, because this is where many women unknowingly lose momentum. Once you understand this pattern, you'll never look at texting, attention, or attraction in the same way. This isn't about tricks or fake rules. It's about human nature. By the end of this, you'll understand why silence happens and what actually makes someone come back.
People often repeat a phrase as if it's absolute truth. If a man wants to talk to you, he will. If he's not texting, he's not interested. It sounds strong and empowering, but real life is more layered. People don't always act on their feelings immediately. They hesitate, they overthink, they get busy, they feel drawn to someone and still do nothing. That doesn't mean every silent man is secretly the right one, and it doesn't mean you should tolerate low effort. But it does mean silence isn't always simple. What really drives someone to reach out isn't just attraction. It's emotional movement, it's curiosity, it's that small sense that something is still open, something worth continuing. Most women are taught to make everything smooth and comfortable. They try to show they're easygoing, available, supportive, calm. Comfort is important, but comfort alone doesn't create urgency. Comfort alone doesn't make someone pause their day just to message you. People reach out when something still feels alive, when there's a slight sense of unfinished energy pulling at them.
Think about your own life. The people who stay in your mind aren't always the ones who gave you perfect closure. Often they're the ones who left behind a spark, a question, a laugh, a moment that kept replaying. Humans move toward what keeps their mind engaged, not always what feels most complete, not always what is most available. Curiosity creates motion. Predictability creates stillness. This doesn't mean you should become confusing or distant. It doesn't mean sending mixed signals or turning dating into a power game. Healthy intrigue is simply depth. It's being present without revealing everything at once. It's letting a conversation end while the energy is still strong, instead of dragging it until both people are just sending empty replies. A woman becomes memorable when she feels real, not when she feels constantly available. When she has her own rhythm, her own opinions, her own life that doesn't pause the moment a man enters it.
That creates emotional weight. He doesn't feel like the center of your world. He feels like someone being invited into a world that already has meaning. Men don't keep reaching out because someone is perfect. They keep reaching out because there's more to discover. When everything is fully explained and predictable, nothing pulls them back. But when they sense there's more beneath the surface, when your attention feels valuable, they lean in. Imagine having great conversations with someone. The chemistry is strong, the laughs are real, the energy is good. Then he disappears for a few days. You start wondering what went wrong. Often the interaction felt good, but it didn't leave a forward pull. Everything was wrapped up neatly. Now imagine ending a great conversation naturally while the energy is high. You say you have to go, but you'll continue later.
Suddenly there's space, and that space matters. The moment has somewhere to go. The feeling stays alive. People chase what feels alive. One of the biggest mistakes is thinking you must keep giving more to stay relevant. Sometimes giving too much kills momentum. Leaving while the feeling is warm allows the connection to breathe. Another pattern that quietly weakens attraction is becoming too predictable, always replying the same way, always available, always giving the exact energy he expects. At first, it seems positive, but predictability can create emotional laziness. If he knows exactly how you'll respond and how much attention he can get with minimal effort, curiosity fades. Not because you aren't enough, but because there's nothing left to discover. Wonder is powerful. When someone feels they've completely figured you out, the emotional pull often drops. Being interesting matters more than being endlessly agreeable. You don't need to be difficult.
Just be real, have opinions, share unexpected thoughts. Let him see you're not simply there to mirror him. The goal isn't to create anxiety, it's to keep the connection awake and fresh.
There's also the issue of imbalance early on. If you're sending long messages while he sends short ones, asking many questions while he asks few, opening up deeply while he's still reserved, the energy becomes uneven. Your openness isn't wrong, but timing matters. Too much too soon can feel heavy. What feels romantic to one person can feel overwhelming to another. The answer isn't to become cold. It's to match energy. Let the connection grow at a pace both people can carry. Real attraction develops with rhythm, not performance. It should feel like both people are stepping forward together, not one person building everything alone. Another quiet mistake is becoming his emotional support before he's truly present in your life. You listen to his problems, encourage him, comfort him, but never let him show up for you. The dynamic becomes one-sided. He receives care, but isn't invited to invest.
Attraction isn't just about being cared for, it's about feeling that you matter. People want to feel useful in the life of someone they like. If you only give and never receive, the connection loses mutual significance. Strong women often think never needing anything makes them easier to love. But never needing anything can also make someone feel unnecessary. Letting someone show up for you isn't weakness, it's how intimacy forms. It shows there's a place for him if he's willing to step in. It creates warmth without losing yourself, softness without surrender, and that's where genuine connection begins to deepen.
Here's something many women need to understand clearly. A man is far more likely to reach out to a woman when he feels she will be happy to hear from him, but still completely okay if he doesn't. That balance changes everything. Because the moment a man senses that his message controls your mood, your entire day, even your sense of worth, it starts to feel heavy. It creates pressure, and pressure slowly kills attraction. No one wants to feel like a single delayed reply is responsible for someone else's emotional stability. But when your energy quietly communicates, I enjoy hearing from you, but my life doesn't stop when you're not around. Everything shifts. That feels grounded. That feels steady. That feels attractive. It shows interest without neediness, value without desperation, and confidence without pretending not to care. The challenge is that many women misunderstand this. They think emotional security means acting detached or cold, but that's not it at all. Real security is being open without collapsing. It's enjoying connection without making it your entire emotional oxygen. It's having a life that still feels full, still moving, still meaningful, whether his message comes or not. And yes, that's easier said than done. But this inner shift is what changes everything on the outside. When you stop refreshing your phone and return to your own world, something in your energy changes. It becomes softer but stronger, open but not hungry, interested but not chasing. And people can feel that shift. even if they can't explain it. This is why the goal is never just more messages. The goal is to become someone whose emotional balance doesn't rise and fall with someone else's inconsistency. From that place, every interaction becomes cleaner, calmer, and more honest. Now let's make this practical, because understanding the idea isn't enough. You need to apply it in a natural way without becoming fake. Start by not over-explaining everything you say. When he asks about your day, you don't need to give a full, detailed report of every moment. Share one interesting detail, something that creates curiosity instead of closing the conversation. For example, instead of listing everything, you might say something like, "It was actually kind of interesting. I tried something new today and I'm still thinking about it." Then ask him about his day. Now the conversation has flow. It has direction. It invites him in instead of ending the thread. Another powerful shift is learning to end conversations while they still feel good. Most people leave when the energy is already fading. The stronger move is to step away while it still feels alive. Something simple like, "I have to go now, but I'm enjoying this. We'll continue later." It keeps the connection open instead of draining it. You can also share small pieces of your world without turning every message into a need for response. A thought, a song, a random observation, a little insight. Not constantly, not to force attention, but as a natural expression of your mind. And the key is this: if he doesn't respond right away, you don't panic. You shared it because it was real, not because you needed validation. That's what keeps your dignity intact. Then there's timing. Respond from your real life, not his convenience. If he only texts late, you don't need to train yourself to always be available at that time. If you were busy, reply when you're free, calmly, normally. No games, no punishment, just your natural rhythm. That alone can reset the entire dynamic. People learn how to treat your time based on what you accept. If you reward inconsistent effort with full emotional access, inconsistency becomes normal. But if your energy quietly says, "I'm warm, but I'm not on standby," something changes. The right person steps up. They start showing more effort, more clarity, more intention. And the ones who don't, that's clarity too. Because boundaries are not walls, they are filters. They reveal who is willing to meet you with effort and who only shows up when things are effortless for them. And that truth is valuable. One fear always comes up here. What if I step back and he disappears? But think about it carefully. If a connection only survives because you are carrying it, then you're not protecting something strong. You're holding together something fragile. And while it can hurt to see someone pull away, that silence often reveals what was already true underneath. Because real interest doesn't need constant chasing. Real curiosity returns on its own. Real effort finds its way back without being dragged. So if you create space and someone fades away, you didn't lose something solid. You uncovered something incomplete. And that realization protects you from wasting time, emotion, and energy on something that was never fully mutual. This is not about playing hard to get. It's about becoming grounded enough that you no longer abandon yourself just to keep someone's attention alive. It's about no longer confusing anxiety with attraction or effort with overgiving. Because when your life is full, attention becomes a bonus, not a lifeline. A message feels pleasant, not essential for emotional survival. And strangely enough, that kind of energy is often what makes you more magnetic in the first place. Not because you are trying to act distant, but because you are no longer operating from emptiness. So take a moment and look honestly at your patterns. Are you always the one starting conversations? Are you the one reviving dead energy? Are you always instantly available even when it costs your peace? Are you giving more than the connection has earned? If yes, there's no need for shame, just awareness. Slowly shift your rhythm back to your own life. Let conversations breathe. Let silence speak. Let him step forward sometimes. instead of you doing all the work. And while you do that, build your world again. Your friends, your goals, your routines, your interests, your rest, your laughter, your peace. The parts of you that don't depend on anyone's attention. Because the more connected you are to your own life, the less you chase people who are inconsistent with yours. And that changes everything. At the end of the day, this is not really about texting, timing, or waiting for someone to show up. It's about the place you are speaking from inside yourself when you connect with someone. Because when your life feels empty, every message feels like everything. Every delay feels personal. Every silence feels like rejection. But when your life is full, steady, and meaningful, a message is just a message, not a lifeline, not proof of value, not the center of your emotional world. The real shift happens when you stop chasing clarity from someone who is inconsistent and start building clarity within yourself. When you stop over-investing in people who only give occasional effort and start investing in your own peace, your own growth, your own life. Because the truth is simple. The right connection does not require you to lose yourself to keep it alive. It does not make you question your worth. It does not force you to constantly prove your value. It feels mutual. It feels steady. It feels like two people choosing each other, not one person performing for attention. So if there is one thing to take from all of this, let it be this. Stop abandoning yourself for inconsistent attention. Stop confusing uncertainty with love. Stop measuring your worth by who replies and who doesn't. Return to your center. Rebuild your life. Protect your peace. And let people earn a place in your world through real effort, not occasional presence. Because once you do that, you don't just change how people treat you, you change the kind of people who stay. If this message resonated with you, make sure you like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss a new insight from Decode His Mind. And if you really understood the message behind this video, comment self-worth below. I want to see who truly got it.